Hello and good morning, Foxes. Today's lore video is on Kandarin and the Fremennik provinces. If you want more lore, make sure to come back next week for Great Curran's lore video. It's gonna be great. Do you like using custom emojis? Tired of waiting for my videos to drop? Want to get to know me? Becoming a channel member not only helps me grow, but gives you a ton of perks too. You'll find the link in the bio below. Thanks, Foxes. Kandarin Troll Country War. This conflict started in the early 3rd Age, about 6,000 years ago, when a dwarven tribe fled beneath the mountain range east of the Fremennik province. Trolls didn't like this, so they launched an attack. Small fights ensued until the 6th Age, when King Veldeban decided to negotiate with the trolls for peace. Both the dwarves and the trolls worked together to fight the Red Axe. Even though there was mistrust amongst the two races, they decided to uphold the peace treaty even after the Red Axe had been defeated. Khazard no more. This was a war between northern and southern Gnome empires and the forces of the Maharat general Khazard. This war is featured in the Gnome Quest series. It's believed that the start of the war can be attributed to the Khazard killing gnomes, but it's unclear as to when it started. After the end of the God Wars, the gnomes emerged from underground, claiming land, which could have been the reason the Khazards attacked first. The gnomes got desperate and sent an orb of protection to the battlefield, but this left their village unprotected, allowing the Khazard to navigate the maze and attack, killing King Borland's wife and many other gnomes in their attempt to steal the other orbs, which was successful. The gnomes employ an adventurer and, after defeating a Khazard warlord, is able to recover the orbs. The war coincides with the Arposandran War, which is also a part of the Gnome Quest series. The Battle of Atari Sundry. The Battle of Atari Sundry was a battle between the gnomes in the north and the goblins in the south of Kandarin. During the 4th Age, the elves who had occupied Kandarin moved west, leaving land available for conquest. But it soon became known early on that the gnomes could not win this battle due to the sheer power of the goblins. Acting quickly, the Gnome King, Healthorg, and one of his advisors, Glowfee, the Untrusted, devised a plan to trick the mighty goblin army. Using knowledge of light magic and optics, they were able to conjure illusions of several giant tortoises, knowing the goblins would be scared, and it worked. The goblins fled in fear, leaving the gnomes victorious. The Feldip Hills Civil War. The Feldip Hills Civil War was a big battle between Bandosians, followers of the god Bandos, that lived in the Feldip Hills during the beginning of the 4th Age. Since the end of the God Wars and Bandos having been banished from Gielinor, his followers were left without guidance and thusly fell into a civil war. Soon, the powerful ogre started a mass genocide of the little goblins, making them have to retreat north. It was during this time that King Baxterin and his Kandarin clan, after having crossed the Galarpos Mountains, began to settle in what is now Kandarin. They established peace treaties with the Tree Gnome stronghold and local human tribes, but when they went to reason with the Ogre Nation, they quickly realized it was no use and left the Feldip Hills. Though the elves were able to establish a kingdom, they suffered many raids from goblins fleeing north, lasting several decades. Eventually, all the goblin tribes except the Dorgshun would come together in what is now Hemenster, living with scarce food and diminishing living space. This would lead to the Battle of the Plain of Mud around the middle of the 4th Age. The Battle of Plain of Mud. The Battle of Plain of Mud was a huge battle involving 11 goblin tribes. This excludes the Dorgshun tribe, as they had a hidden city deep underneath centuries before this battle took place. Tension started building after the God Wars when their god Bandos had been banished from Gielinor. With Bandos gone, they didn't have enough food. At first, they decided to attack the humans, but soon realized they didn't want to fight them, so they built walls to keep from being attacked. Food was still a big problem though, so they started attacking each other for it, leading to a large battle between all 11 tribes and many casualties. One night, a goblin from the Narwashun tribe named Hopespear had a vision from Bandos in which the god told him that they needed to stop fighting, even though they were strong warriors, or else there would be no goblins left. In the vision, Bandos went on to tell Hopespear that they need to fight someone else, but not their own people, and that he would soon send them a commander that would lead them to glory. Hopespear then went to the goblin generals and relayed his vision. After doing so, the goblin generals decided to end the battle. Hopespear's vision was written in a book, and a temple was constructed where the Battle of Plain of Mud took place. This battle was the turning point for goblin history known well by all goblins. Sea Slug conflicts. During the 4th Age, a sea slug queen named Mother Malum emerged and the Temple Knights fought against her. This proved difficult as she was able to create tiny sea slugs that were able to take over the minds and bodies of other creatures. She used these tiny slugs to control and corrupt the important political figures, but eventually she was sealed in an underground cave network by the Temple Knights. Unfortunately, the Temple Knights have since forgotten how they had imprisoned her in the first place. Around the year 169 in the 5th Age, there was a platform set up off the coast of Witch Haven, a little before the start of the Sea Slug's quest. This greatly impacted the local populace, and it wasn't long before the fishermen started to fish up Mother Malum's sea slugs, which took over the seamen on the fishing platform and started to take over the small town of Witch Haven. The Temple Knights enlisted an adventurer that had previously encountered the sea slugs to investigate. Unfortunately, the adventurer was tricked into freeing Mother Malum and barely escaped with their life, but not before being able to kill the slug prince. This alone was able to halt Mother Malum's plans, for now. While she plots her next move, the Temple Knights struggle to find a way to rid the world of the sea slugs once and for all. The Battle of Ardoin. The Battle of Ardoin is the unofficial name for the events surrounding the discovery of runecraft, which allowed humans to be able to cast magic, though it had all but been lost over the ages as rune supplies dwindled. In the 7th year of the 5th Age, a Saradominus tribe expanded to Kandarin. This tribe was led by the ancestor of Cyril Carnelian, who fought and overthrew the Zamorakian Maharat Haziel. Haziel ruled the land surrounding what is now Ardoin at this time. Although he was able to escape with his life, he was gravely wounded. He waited, nursing himself back to health, until his cultists revived him in the 169th year of the 5th Age. After the Saradominus tribe had defeated Haziel, they decided to settle there, naming the city Ardoin. In time, it would become the biggest city in Kandarin as well as its capital. Dreaded years of tragedy. A group of Zamorakians moved into an abandoned outpost northwest of Ardoin during the 95th to 98th year of the 5th Age. They soon started to cause chaos, stealing, vandalizing, poisoning the water supply, and turning the children invisible. They even convinced others to join them. Though most of the chaos was harmless and petty, it caused the town distress, which led them to call upon a Saradominus army, which started what soon would be called the Great Battle. There was no real winner of the Great Battle, as only the leaders of both sides survived. Both vowed to follow Guthix, with one going on to found the Ardoin market, and the other, the first king in the Ardignus line, which continues today through King Tyrus and King Lathis, thusly making the Zamorakians' reign of chaos known as the dreaded years of tragedy. Ardoin Revolution. During the 169th year of the 5th Age, West Ardoin was under the control of the elves from the Iorwerth clan because the leader of the Iorwerth clan agreed to help King Lathis defeat his brother, King Tyrus, who was the popular choice for the Kandarin throne. Thusly, for the elves to take control of West Ardoin, they spread the rumor of a plague and dressed up as mourners to take people from their homes to help them, but that was far from the truth. The Iorwerth made them slaves and forced them to work in an underground tunnel. The slaves dug for ores, though the real goal of the elves was to find the Temple of Light, which was said to contain massive death energy that in turn could summon the Dark Lord. In the end, they were thwarted by an adventurer who was initially helping them until they found out the truth and changed sides. The adventurer was able to access the temple and activate its safeguards, preventing the Iorwerth from entering for the next 1,000 years. Unfortunately though, the temple was not completely secure, as some dwarves were able to tunnel into it. During this, Elena founded the Ardoin Resistance and discovered that the plague was a hoax, and that it was just a clever ruse to eventually overthrow King Lathis. The Resistance needed help, so they asked the adventurer to dress up as a mourner and an Ardoin knight to get the citizens to join them. It worked, and the Resistance was able to take over the mourners' headquarters, and they made their way to the East Ardoin castle to address King Lathis. He was guarded well, but the Resistance was victorious and overpowered them. The king was found hiding in a cabinet, and when questioned about his actions, the citizens sentenced him to death for his crimes. He was to be executed, and since there was no direct heir, Thoros gets crowned king, presumably a relative to King Lathis. The Arposandran War. The Arposandran War is being waged against the Gnome Empire currently, and now also involves Apatol. They are being attacked by Arposandra. Before Glow's invasion, most of the war was seen through espionage with very little open combat. Though at the time they did not know it was Glow, his first attempt is to kill the Grand Tree by using a Draconia rock, which was especially crafted to poison the Grand Tree in case it ever grew out of control. This attempt was thwarted by an adventurer who ended up finding the rock amongst the Grand Tree's roots before it could do any real harm. In addition to Glow's first attempt, Arposandra sent these cute creatures to spy on the gnomes. They also sent a saboteur to destroy a protective device that was built by Onok the engineer, but the adventurer once again thwarts this plan by uncovering the cute creatures for the spies that they are and being able to fix the protective device. The gnomes feel attacked and send their 10th squad to Ape Atoll to investigate the monkeys and Arposandra. Unfortunately, the squad is discovered and forced to fight a jungle demon with the help of the adventurer. They are victorious and head back to the stronghold with their findings. Soon, the adventurer is sent back to Ape Atoll to investigate the disappearance of Glow. This time, they find out everything that Glow is up to. That he plans to invade the tree gnome stronghold with the help of the monkeys of Ape Atoll, the Goon Tanoth, ogres, and the trolls of the troll stronghold using his constructed airships and an army of demonic gorillas. One brave soul and slayer master named Neve fights by the adventurer's side to defeat Glow, but she was swiftly slain. In the end, there were many sacrifices made, but Glow was defeated and his forces pushed back. Neve's cousin Steve then takes her place as Slayer Master. Thanks for stopping by, Foxes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back next week for another one.